Well, Lynn, as you know, in our last segment on the YouTube, we told people how my late wife Valerie and I both received Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah, into our lives, the Son of God. And it was just the beginning. And a lot of people think that the moment they accept Jesus, well, that's great, and, go to heaven and so forth. It's not on its own enough. It's the beginning of a learning process. Everything you do in life, you have to start by learning to do something properly. You read books, or you go to lectures, or you go to university or college or whatever it is. Well, it's the same with the walk that you have with God. You have to start at the beginning, and you have to learn. And the only way to learn, or the most important way to learn, it's fine to go to church. But in church you only get a little fragment of what's going on. You have to read the Bible. There is one Bible, a number of different versions. I don't think it really matters which one you read. But the fact remains is you've got to know what God said to the Israelites in the Old Testament and what Jesus said to everybody in the New Testament. And you have to understand it. And if you don't understand it, you should go to a Bible study, or you should talk to somebody, a friend, male or female, who does understand it. It's a whole new world. We don't realize what we're missing when we don't study parts of the Bible and apply it to our own lives. This is the thing. God is great and wonderful, and He's gracious and forgiving, and He wants us to live life abundantly. But in return for that, we have to trust Him. And you can apply this to all the less important things in life. Your tennis coach, or your football coach, or anybody else like it. You have to be able to speak to God like I'm speaking with you today, like Lynn and I, who's partners with me in this project, how we chat with each other. You've got to be able to, but with God you have to have respect. You've got to not take Him for granted. You've got to not just turn to Him when there's trouble. Because if you just turn to God when there's trouble, you're not really walking with God. And if you want to walk with God, then you want to know who He is and what His promises are. And there are hundreds and hundreds of promises that God has made in the Bible that we can hold on to. Because what happens is, life is not plain sailing. Life brings with it problems, health problems, financial problems, marital problems, business problems, all kinds of problems, especially problems with children. And the fact remains is that you've got to know how to deal with it the best you can.